Welcome to an English language lesson. This lesson is for the Form 5 students. The textbook that we are using is Download. The theme is Health and Environment. We are learning Unit 5 and the topic is the environment. Let's look at the learning standards. Let's begin by looking at the learning standards. We have the main skills, listening 1.1.6, understand independently, longer, more complex narrative on a wide range of familiar topics and unfamiliar topics. Speaking 2.3.1, keep interaction going in discourse level exchanges by paraphrasing and rephrasing appropriately. Writing 4.1.2, explain advantages and disadvantages of ideas, plans or arrangements. And writing 4.1.5, organize, sequence and develop ideas within the text of several paragraphs of a familiar topic and some unfamiliar topics. Now let's look at the complementary skills. We have speaking 2.1.2, ask about and explain advantages and disadvantages of ideas, plans and arrangements. Speaking 2.4.1, explain the main points of an idea or argument. Writing 4.2.1, punctuate written work on a range of text types with reasonable accuracy. And reading 3.1.1, understand the main points in the standard text on a wide range of familiar topics and some unfamiliar topics. Dear students, let's begin with the pre-lesson activity. Dear students, do you know this word? Plogging. What does it mean? Well, plogging is a combination of jogging with picking up litter. So you have here some pictures of plogging.
The word plogging is an English-Swedish combination of jogging and plocka up, which means pick up in Swedish. Swedish speakers use plogga, a combination of plocka up with jogga, jog. Both words, though, refer to the same activity of picking up litter while out on a jog. Erik Ahlström started plogging in the Swedish capital city, Stockholm, when he moved there from the ski resort. He created the website Plogga to organize the activity and encourage volunteers. It started as an organized activity in Sweden around 2016 and spread to other countries in 2018, following increased concern about plastic pollution. As a workout, it provides variation in body movements by adding bending, squatting, and stretching to the main action of running, hiking, or walking. Plogging is considered a perfect activity, as it is positive both for the body and for the environment.
We are doing the listening lesson. Let's start our listening lesson. First, label the pictures with these words. So you have butterfly, insects, lake, long grass, pond, and wildflowers. So number 1 is pond, number 2 long grass, number 3 wildflowers. Picture 4 will be butterfly, the 5th is insects, and the last picture is a lake. Let's look at the second task. It's important to read the questions carefully before you do a listening task, so that you already have a good idea of what the recording will be about before it begins. Look at task 3 below. Although you don't know which answers will be correct, you can work out quite a lot of information just from the questions. Read questions 1 to 6 and then write down 5 facts that you already know about what Richard is going to say. The first one is done for you. Let's look at download. Always read through the questions carefully to get an idea of what the recording will be about and think about what information the questions have already given you. The answer options will also tell you a lot about the sort of things the speaker is going to talk about. If you have these ideas in mind, it will help you to work out whether the opinions are right or wrong when you hear the conversation.
Unit 5. Listening. Exercise 3. Hello. Each week in Wildlife Matters, we look at ways in which local people are helping their environment. Today I've come to Broadland School to talk to head teacher Richard Sandland about his plans to create a wildlife area in the school grounds. Hi, Richard.
Hello and welcome.
So what gave you the idea of creating a wildlife area?
Well, there was a corner of the school field which wasn't being used for sports or anything else, and as nobody was looking after it, it had become a bit wild. I was looking at it one day when I noticed how many butterflies and other insects were buzzing around the area. It was full of wildlife. I realized that if we did some work to make it even more attractive to wildlife, we could help our local environment while teaching the students about science and nature at the same time.
So tell us about what you and the students are planning to do.
Well, firstly, we'll be cutting down a lot of this long grass. It's not particularly helpful to wildlife, and we want to encourage wildflowers to grow amongst the shorter grass instead, which will attract more insects. We'll be planting a few trees, which will attract birds, and in the middle, we're going to have a pond.
Will the students be doing a lot of the work themselves?
Oh, yes, they'll be doing most of it. We start this weekend, and we've got a large group who can't wait to throw themselves into the project. It'll have to be done after school or on Saturday mornings, but fortunately, that hasn't put them off. Lots of them are interested in nature conservation, so they see it as an exciting hobby.
Have you needed to get expert advice on creating the wildlife area?
Yes, I'd had the original idea, but I didn't really know how to put it into action. An expert from the local wildlife society came to talk to the school and helped us to plan what we would do. The students got really excited because they were able to suggest their own ideas and get involved in the planning.
Will you be able to use the wildlife area to teach normal school subjects?
Yes, indeed. Education these days is excellent, but it's missing something. Children don't learn the vital connection between themselves and the natural world anymore. When I was young, we were always going on nature walks, learning about trees and birds and so on, and although students have lots more choice of subjects these days, they lack that connection. We'll still be teaching them everything they need to learn, but we'll be using the wildlife area as our inspiration and as a useful resource.
I can't wait to come back in 6 months' time and see how it's looking.
I hope by then we'll have transformed this area into a beautiful wildlife haven. The students will be able to give you a full report on everything we've attracted to the garden. In the meantime, they'll be writing regular blogs for the school's website, and I'll be keeping a photographic record of every stage.
It's very exciting. Best of luck, Richard.
Thanks.
Now let's look at the answers. Richard has decided to create a wildlife area. There is currently an area of long grass at school. Some of his students will be working on the project after school and at weekends. Richard has involved an expert from the local wildlife society. Students will be doing something frequently as the project progresses. Let's go through the answers for exercise 3. So let's look at the questions and the options. Number 1, why did Richard decide to create the wildlife area? A, the students wanted to help local wildlife. B, the area looked unattractive. C, some wildlife had already moved into the area. So the answer is some wildlife had already moved into the area. Question 2, what does Richard say about the long grass? A, it will be replaced by a wildflower area. B, it's great for attracting insects. C, it will be left to grow around the pond. So answer will be, it will be replaced by a wildflower area. Number 3, what do Richard's students think about working on the project after school and at weekends? A, they don't mind giving up their spare time for the project. B, many have been put off from getting involved. C, they won't be able to help much because of their other hobbies. So the answer is A, they don't mind giving up their spare time for the project. Number 4, why did Richard need to involve an expert from the local Wildlife Society. Options: A. He wanted to be sure his plans would work. B. He needed expert advice on what to do. C. He wanted to encourage the students to join. So the answer is B. He needed expert advice on what to do. Number 5. What does Richard say about the modern education system? A. It's not as good as it was when he was young. B. It misses out an important part of education. C. It doesn't offer enough choice of subjects. So the answer is B. It misses out an important part of education. The last question, what will students be doing frequently as the project progresses? So answer will be C. Let's look at the option first. A. Taking photographs of the wildlife area, giving reports to the radio station, and writing about the project online. So the answer is C. Writing about the project online. Now we will begin our speaking lesson. Let's begin our speaking lesson. Ask and answer the question with a partner. What things can everyone do to help their local environment and the global environment? Which environmental problems concern you the most? What sort of environments are your favorite places to go? Example, beach, mountain, or city. How do these places make you feel? What could be done to improve the environment where you live? So you can answer, everyone can help the local environment and the global environment by practicing the 3 R's: reduce, reuse, and recycle. Then you can also answer, I'm concerned with water pollution as it is a serious environmental problem. Next, for number 3, you can answer, my favorite places are the mountains and forests for the clean, fresh air and tranquility. And for the last question, you can answer, to improve the environment where I live, I think the residents need to stop burning rubbish and they also can try composting waste. For task 2, a nature reserve is an area that is protected in order to support wildlife, but it is also for people to enjoy visiting. Which of these things do you think is most important for a nature reserve to have? Number them from 1, most important, to 10, least important. Then talk to your partner and ask what he or she thinks about each item. So here you can make your own choices. Maybe for example, number 1 can be good habits for wildlife. Number 2 can be good maintenance and no litter. Number 3 can be location away from busy roads. Number 4 can be beautiful scenery. Number 5, guided tours for school or the public. And number 6 could be information boards. Next we can have maybe benches for visitors to sit on. And then we have car or bicycle parking. You can choose a cafe as number 9. And the last one may be cleanup days. So it depends on your own choices. Let's look at the third exercise. Work with a partner. You live near a nature reserve, but your local council is concerned and disappointed that the nature reserve is full of litter. Here are some ideas that the local council is considering to solve the problem. First, talk to each other about how successful each idea would be. Then, decide which 2 ideas the council should choose. Use the words and phrases in the language bank to help you. So how could the council reduce the amount of litter in the nature reserve? So we have ideas like organize regular cleanup days, give every visitor a leaflet about littering, put up signs saying please don't drop litter, provide more rubbish bins, employ someone to pick up litter. Let's go through the model answer.
Student A. The local council has proposed some ideas to solve the problem of littering in the nature reserve. Student B. Well, that is great. We all know that the reserve is eyesore nowadays. My parents and I went there last week and we were disgusted with the irresponsible visitor who threw rubbish everywhere. The bins were also overflowing, which suggests that the waste was not collected. Student A. The council suggests to employ someone to pick up the litter. I think it is good as maybe there is a shortage of workers. I am certain the residents living nearby would be interested. Student B. The council's plan to provide more rubbish bins is also practical, as when I was there, I saw there were only 3 bins in the reserve. In addition, the bins are only located near the main entrance. Student A. I agree with the regular cleanup days. When the council organizes this activity, they should get the workers and also advertise for volunteers. I'm certain that many people will be happy to help out. Student B. Putting up signs saying please don't drop litter could work, but I think the signboards must mention the fine for littering too. This definitely will make the offenders think twice. Student A. The council also plans to give every visitor a leaflet about littering. This is a suitable suggestion, but if the visitors are in a group, it is better to give them a leaflet only, as we should try to reduce paper waste too. Throwing the leaflet is also polluting the reserve. Student B. Now, let's choose the best 2 ideas from the council. I am for providing more rubbish bins and employing someone to pick up the litter. Do you agree? Student A. Yes, I think you have the 2 best ideas.
For exercise 4, work in pairs to discuss these questions. Number 1, is it more important to try to prevent global environmental problems or to protect your local environment? 2, do you think the quality of people's local environment affects their behavior? And number 3, what are the best ways to encourage people to care about the environment? So let's look at the download notes. In a discussion, if you are not sure which items to choose, it's okay to ask your partner what he or she thinks first, and then see whether you agree or not. You can also ask them to explain their opinion if you are still not sure. Now the language bank, asking your partner's opinion. What do you think about? What's your opinion of? Do you agree that? What would you say about? Why do you think? Can you explain or tell me why you said that? Let's look at some sample answers. So, the global environment encompasses broad wildlife environmental factors that are beyond the scope of control of any community or nation. Number 2, the local environment is a portion of the total surroundings in contact with the system boundaries. It is the characteristic of or associated with a particular locality or area. So let's look at the answer. The major global environmental problems are pollution, global warming, ozone layer depletion, acid rain, natural resource depletion, overpopulation, waste disposal, deforestation, and loss of biodiversity. So here you have 2 phrases like global environment and also the local environment. Let's look at the first question. Is it more important to try to prevent global environmental problems or to protect your local environment? So you can say it is more important to try to protect our local environment. For example, if the local community is facing environmental problem like river pollution, we should work to reduce this problem first. Our efforts to clean the river, to find offenders, and to employ workers or form a task force would improve the environment where we live in. Number 2, do you think the quality of people's local environment affects their behavior? So your answer could be the quality of people's local environment affects their behavior. Since the earliest time, humans have needed to be sensitive to their surroundings to survive, which means that we have an innate awareness of our environment and seek out environments with certain qualities. And the last question, what are the best ways to encourage people to care about the environment? The best way to encourage people to care about the environment is through campaigns, education in school or at a young age, and also setting an example by doing voluntary work with organizations that aim at protecting or improving the environment. You can read and also listen to this model answer.
Student A, I believe that the quality of people's local environment affects their behavior. Since the earliest times, humans have needed to be sensitive to their surroundings to survive, which means that we have an innate awareness of our environment and seek out environments with certain qualities. Student B, why do you say so? Student A, first of all, humans have a strong need for safety and security and look for those attributes in their environment. We also look for physical comfort, such as an environment with the right temperature. In addition, we seek an environment that is psychologically comfortable, for example, environments that are familiar, but offer the right amount of stimulus. Student B, can you give some examples? Student A, here are a few examples of how the environment can impact you. The environment can facilitate or discourage interactions among people and the subsequent benefits of social support. For example, an park with comfortable benches and clean area can encourage a family to visit and stay for activities. The environment can also influence people's behavior and motivation to act. Why don't you try to come up with an example? Student B, maybe when a river is littered with rubbish, this will invite others to throw another waste item in the river, whereas a clean river will encourage people to keep it clean. Student A, yes, you are right. Well done. The environment can also influence mood. For example, the results of several research studies reveal that rooms with bright light, both natural and artificial, can improve health outcomes such as depression, agitation, and sleep. Try to think how the environment affects our health. Student B, perhaps most importantly for health, the environment can create or reduce stress, which in turn impacts our bodies in multiple ways. This is because our brain and our nervous, endocrine, and immune systems are constantly interacting. Thus, the stress of a noisy, confusing town full of traffic jams might result in a visitor or driver not only feeling worried, sad, or helpless, but experiencing higher blood pressure, heart rate, and muscle tension.
Last lesson is writing. Dear students, let's begin the writing lesson. So for writing, you are writing an essay, and it is writing a strong introduction. The opening paragraph on the essay should introduce the topic of what you're going to write about, and clearly state your opinion in answer to the question in the task. Avoid simply copying the words from the task. Think of your own introduction. Describe something you know about the topic, and then give your opinion using formal language. Let's look at the first exercise. Read this extract from a writing task and circle the topic. Then, read the 3 alternative opening paragraphs written in answer to the task and answer the questions below them. So let's look at the paragraph. One reason why zoos keep animals in cages is to study them and protect them for the future. Is this a good way or a bad way to have animals? So the topic is why zoos keep animals in cages. Now let's look at the 3 alternative opening paragraphs. So A, animals need protecting. But in my opinion, zoos shouldn't keep animals in cages to study them and protect them for the future. It's not a good way to help them. B, zoos know that many types of wildlife are in danger. If they can find ways of saving these animals by studying some of them, then I think they are doing something very good for nature. C, wildlife are in increasing danger in the modern world. I think we should do all we can to increase our knowledge of nature and protect it. So let's look at the introduction. Which introduction wrongly uses informal language such as contractions? Example, they are instead of they are. So answer is paragraph 1, because we have words like zoos shouldn't. And another one is it's or it is. Number 2, which introduction copies too many words from the task? Answer is A. Number 3, which introduction does not include the topic? Answer is C. Next, number 4, Which introduction does not give an opinion on the questions in the task? Answer is C. And number 5, which introduction correctly introduces the essay task? Answer is B. For task 2, read this writing task and circle the topic. You have been talking about the environment in class. Now, your English teacher has asked you to write an essay for homework. Write your essay using all the notes and giving reasons for your point of view. So write in 140 to 190 words. Some countries are now banning plastic bags in shops. Is this a good or a bad thing for shoppers? So look at the notes. Write about 1. Plastic rubbish, 2. Water pollution, and 3. Your own idea. So the answer is banning plastic bags in shops is the, what is it? So this is the main topic of the question. Let's look at the third exercise. Read these 2 alternative opening paragraphs for the essay that was written in answer to the question in number 2. Decide in class which one successfully introduces the topic and the writer's opinion. Then tick the correct box. A. The earth could soon be covered in bits of plastic, covering the countryside and draining the oceans. I think that this is wrong, and what some countries are doing is good for everybody. B. Every day, millions of plastic bags are used by shoppers for an hour or two and then thrown away. I think that banning them in shops reduces the amount of rubbish in the world, which is good for everybody. So the answer is B. Now read the rest of the essay and answer the questions below it. So first of all, a huge proportion of our rubbish is made of plastic, which does not decompose like paper and other waste products. Plastic takes years to disappear from the land. In addition, many of the world's oceans and rivers are polluted by millions of plastic bags, which are a danger to fish and other animals. Ducks and birds can get trapped in them and die, for instance, and fish get slowly poisoned if they eat them. Moreover, there is no need for plastic bags in shops. People can easily get used to taking their own shopping bags with them when they go out. All in all, I think more and more countries should stop shops using dangerous and unnecessary plastic bags. The world would be a much better place without them. So number 1, underline the main point the writer makes about note 1 and 2. So the first one is, does not decompose like paper and other waste products. Next, we have plastic bags. They are a danger to fish and other animals. Then you have underline the main point the writer make as a third idea. So you have there is no need for plastic bags in shops. In which paragraph does the writer use examples to support one of the points? Answer is in paragraph 3. Now let's look at task 5. Using examples is a good way of explaining and supporting points in your essay. Look at the following statements about food and use your imagination to help you write examples. Number 1, some of the food we buy would be easy to grow ourselves. For examples, we could grow fruit and vegetables in our gardens. Some people do not have the time or energy to grow their own food. For example, old people may be too tired, and some people work all day and want to relax at the weekend. Dear students, let's look at the language bank. So you have words here and also phrases. Describing food, you have ripe, the opposite is unripe, fresh, stale, healthy, unhealthy. You have natural, processed. And then producing food, you have additive, preservative, chemicals, and fertilizer. Growing food, you have words or phrases such as digging, preparing the soil, sowing seeds, weeding, watering, and harvesting. Introducing some examples, you can write for instance, for example. Now for the writing lesson, read this writing task and then use the plan below and the language bank to help you write your essay. When you have finished your essay, check your work carefully. We have been talking about the environment in class. Now, your English teacher has asked you to write an essay for homework. Write your essay using all the notes and giving of reasons for your point of view. So you have to write in 140 to 190 words. Many people have decided to grow their own food these days. Is this a good thing or a bad thing for people? So you can write these other notes. Write about 1. Food from shops, 2. Prices and costs, and 3. Your own idea. So you can follow the plan here or the format where you have paragraph 1, you can introduce the topic and your opinion. Paragraph 2, you make points about shop food to support your opinion. And then number 3, you make points about prices and costs to support your opinion. Paragraph 4, use your own idea in support or contrast. And then for paragraph 5, restate your opinion using different words and add a comment. Let's look at the download. Circle the essay topic in the task. Introduce a topic in your opening paragraph and make sure that your opinion is clearly expressed. You answer the question in the task. Okay, so make sure this is important. You have to answer the question in the task. And then use examples to help you explain your ideas later in the essay. Remember to use formal language. Let's look at the question. Many people have decided to grow their own food these days. Is this a good idea, a good thing, or a bad thing for people? So you have the notes right about number 1, food from shops, 2, prices and costs, and 3, your own idea. So let's look at the plan. You have to introduce paragraph 1, introduce the topic and your opinion. Paragraph 2, make points about shop food to support your opinion. Paragraph 3, make points about prices and costs to support your opinion. Paragraph 4, use own idea in support or contrast. And paragraph 5, restate your opinion using different words and add a comment. So here, let's look at number 1. We have food from shop. Yeah, they can be stale, rotten, ripe, unable to select because they are packed, less choices, they have additive or preservative. Supermarket deals in many perishable goods like vegetables, fruits, dairy products, and others. So these goods may spoil if not sold within a limited time. And for prices and costs, you can write food from shop. So the prices are higher or they cost more. As a shop is a large-scale retail organization and it deals in almost all the goods and services of daily use of consumer, it needs huge amount of capital to be invested. And your own idea can be food from shops. You have minimum satisfaction of or for the customers. Customers have to select the goods on their own without any aid, and no extra facility is provided to them in these markets or in these shops, and they feel less satisfied. Dear student, here is the model answer.
Many people have decided to grow their own food these days. Is this good thing or bad thing for people? In my opinion, this is a good thing because as consumers, we gain a lot of benefits by doing so. First, the food that we purchase from shops could be stale, rotten, or too ripe. Most of the time, we are not given the option to select food of better quality as the food is packed or sealed in a container. The majority of produce sold in grocery stores go through a long process of being picked, shipped, and distributed to various stores, and end up staying in storage or on the shelf for a while before being purchased, losing nutritional values. As shops deal in many perishable goods like vegetables, fruits, dairy products, and others, these goods may spoil if not sold within a limited time. In addition, there are also lesser choices compared to markets where variety of options are available. Besides, food in shops are normally added with additives, preservatives to enhance the taste and to extend shelf life of the products. The prices and cost of food from shops depends on many factors. Prices of all the goods at these stores are always fixed. No bargaining is allowed in prices. As a shop is a large-scale retail organization and it deals in almost all the goods and services of daily use of consumers, it needs huge amount of capital to be invested. Sometimes, the cost is absorbed by the customers. Last but not least, buying food from shops provide minimum satisfaction for consumers. We have to select the goods on our own without any aid and no extra facility provided for us in these stores, and we feel least satisfied. To conclude, growing our own food is a simple solution to numerous health, environmental, and economic problems. We save money on gas and produce that would have been spent traveling to the grocery store, and the food in its freshest form is not only the tastiest way to enjoy it, but also the most nutritional. Which would you prefer, an apple that has been sitting on a shelf in the store for a week, or one that was just picked seconds ago from a tree in your backyard?
Yes, students, thank you for watching this video, and do remember to subscribe to my channel. It is called Educator Omni Tube. Signing off, I'm Madam Gan. Bye bye. See you again in another lesson.